Hello, everybody. This is Founder Laboring with Fantasy Grounds Academy. Stay tuned, and here we are for part 2 of Hell's Heroes versus the Deathromancer. So in part 1, we actually set up the scenario. I went over some of the cliff notes and some of the things I went through to get the map set up. So this is more going to focus on the first combat, and that's where we left off last time before my internet went out. So if you watch part 1, you'll be able to see leading up to this point what actually happened. So we're going to take and pick up where we left off. So in the actual combat tracker, I have some skeletons. I have Hell's Heroes, which are 3 different player characters. Right now they're fighting some skeletons. So I'm going to bring up my notes here. So there's a map that we were using for the stream last time, which is right here, which I have on the right hand side. And the combat is going to focus in at the moment on Damien and his attacker. So Damien actually has a ready action, which he basically stated that if anything comes close to me, he's going to bash him with his Morning Star. So that's where we left off. And then his girlfriend, Fatalia Flame Tamer, and his, I guess you want to call him a brother-in-law or something like that, Erebus the Deceiver. So they're kind of fanning out. If I click on the token, you'll actually see the vision. So he can't see Fatalia because of the darkness, and the structure here is kind of tall. But he can see Erebus, and he also notices skeletons are coming out, so he's getting ready to fight with them. The other thing is on the combat tracker, it is the skeleton's turn, but since Damien has the melee action ready going, he kind of paused his turn to see what would happen, and then this individual came out and attacked him. So he gets to hit him with like a delayed reaction, basically. So he's gonna try to thump him with his Morning Star. So that's where we left off last time. Also, if you're wondering what theme this is the Hearth theme. Sir Mott's Hearth theme. It's available on the Fantasy Grounds Forge. The NPCs and such, and the characters, I built those in other sessions, so I have those on a playlist for Hell's Heroes if you want to go back and watch some of those, where I was actually building the players. So as I go through this, I'm kind of explaining what I'm doing and pointing out some things, so that way you're not just seeing a blank screen with a bunch of characters on there. Another thing I want to show you is kind of like the layout, how I organize the combat, so that I can best utilize the user interface, the way it's presented. It really helps a lot. So get going on this. So Damien basically is going to make his readied attack. So he gets to basically thump the skeleton. So the skeleton comes down out of this portal from the north. So this is where Damien is going to attack. There is another encounter with skeletons on the left here in this other part of the map that haven't come out yet. They'll come out again in the next round, but I want to go ahead and start this one. So skeleton comes down. He moves into position to attack Damien. Damien delayed his attack, so now he's going to finally get his attack roll. So he's going to go to his actions tab, which is on the very back, or the bottom tab down here, which is where the actions are stored. And in this case, he's going to take a melee attack. So he gets to use his Morning Star. He is, I believe, he's 5th level, so he gets 2 attacks if he wants. You go to his abilities here, it'll tell you he gets the extra attack. So he actually gets two attacks. So this is something that he could do. And then he also has fighting style dueling, which helps. So if that's something that you have on your character sheet, you should have that active. So that is something I need to make sure I have that. It's a passive ability. Gives him +2 on damage. So if I activate this, that will be a passive ability. And then he has some others. He has fighting style dueling, second wind. He has the combat superiority, where he can do a lunging attack, which basically he can reach, further. and then he has a push attack, and then also there's a superiority die, which you just kind of keep track of that. There's also a ring of evasion that he has active, and then the actual evasion roll is here, and then he has a racial ability of firebolt. So he's pretty well armed and ready to go, and he's got some throwing daggers. So he's not really doesn't have an arsenal of weapons. He mainly uses that big the big Morning Star. So I'm gonna go ahead and take that Morning Star, drag and drop the attack roll either on the token or in the combat tracker. So I'm gonna drag it to the combat tracker. I think it's a little bit cleaner to do it that way. So if I drag and drop this over, it should drop into the chat area. Oh, what do you know? He rolled a 1. So he actually missed. And being that I don't really have anything active for critical fumbles or critical success, I'm going to rule that he loses his next attack, and he pretty much drops his Morning Star. So he has to spend the rest of his reaction to try to recover that. So that was basically his turn. Now the skeleton is just right upon him, and he's going to take a swing at him. So the skeleton has a short blade, so I'm going to have it drag and drop the attack roll on Damien in the actual map. So if I zoom in on the skeleton here, I have him selected, and this is what the skeleton sees as far as vision goes. So I kind of zoomed out so you can see that. So he only really is paying attention to Damien at the moment. So he's going to take a swing with his short blade, and that misses by a mile. So it just he just swings wildly, and it just misses. Probably clangs on the side of the wall here or something like that. So that was an utter miss. So that's basically the skeleton's turn. So when the turn is over, I'm going to go ahead and click on next actor in the case of the Game Master, but if you're a player, it'll be turn complete. So skeleton number 1 is up here. So to emulate the skeleton's movement as the Game Master, I need to hold down the Alt key and start the movement. So the skeleton moves up to this point. I'm going to go ahead and approve that movement. And he takes a swing at Damien as he goes by, because he's actually going after Erebus. So I'm going to go ahead and execute the attack. Now, if I was using a flanking rule, I could do that. Oh, he also rolls a 1. So this is incredible. Two ones. So we're starting off good. So skeleton drops his weapon. He can't do anything else other than recover his weapon. So I think what he's going to do is probably take out his short bow. I don't know how intelligent they are, but that's basically what he'll probably do to keep his attacks going. So that's the end of the skeleton's turn. And now it's Fatalia Flamethrower. So if I click on her token, this is what I can see. So I can't see Damien fighting the skeleton, but I can hear them fighting. So that's something to remember, that you can still hear them even though you can't see them. She can see skeleton number 1, at least the very front of it, so he might have partial cover. So I would consider that as a penalty or a problem that for her. So if she has any attacks that would require missile attacks or something, that might be something that you'd want to keep in mind. She also already has a Cloak of Protection, and she has Hellish Resistance from her race. So I'm going to take a look at her spells. I think I'm going to do an Agonizing Blast. It's a ranged attack that's +2. So with that in mind, I'm going to put a -2 because of the cover, because the skeleton is still kind of hiding around the corner. So that'll basically cancel out her bonus there. But if it works, she can do 1d10 plus force damage, which will hurt the skeletons quite a bit. So in order to target this individual, if I wanted to, I would hold down Control and hit click on the token. But I don't want to necessarily target him, because this might just be a one-time thing. So I'm going to go ahead and just drag and drop the attack roll at +2 range, but it's also -2 because of cover. So that's already calculated in the offset for the modifiers. So now I just drag and drop this onto the skeleton, and it rolled a 9, which missed. So Her Agonizing Blast just kind of shot past the skeleton and did no harm. So she's going to actually move back as part of her turn. She's not going to move back all the way, but she's going to kind of get out of the... Now that she sees there's a fight going on, she doesn't want to get mixed up directly into face-to-face combat. So again, I'll hold down the Alt key. And I've moved her back to a little bit more of a safer location, at least for the time being. And that will give her a little bit of breathing room. So that'll be her turn. So Erebus has to decide what he wants to do. So he hears the skeletons coming from the west. So over here on the left, there are some skeletons that are coming. And when I click on his token, this is what he can see. So he sees the ravine, and then he sees the skeletons will be coming out of this tunnel soon. So he's got to make some quick decisions. So if I go to his Actions tab, take a look what he has. He's got quite a few things here. I made sure that the Jack of all trades is active. That gives him a +1 on initiative. And he also has a built-in resistance to fire. Let's see. It's got Psychic Blades, Song of Rest, Words of Terror. I don't think he's going to use those, but what he might do is cast Bane or something like that on the enemies. So I'm going to use one of these first level spells on the next round, but he's not going to use it just yet. So what I will do is, I think for the time being, I think I'll do the dodge action just so he can sort of get out of the way and so he doesn't get hurt. And then he's going to move over here a little so he's not right in the middle of everything. So I'm going to have him move back 15 feet and do the dodge action. So he's going to move back here. And then I'm going to enable the dodge action. So he's doing that. Whoops, I didn't mean to. Why did that go on to that guy? Effect to Erebus. Yeah, that looks right. But it's going on him because he's targeting somebody. So let me double check that. I don't want it to. Huh. Very strange. So he's got it on him twice. So I don't want that. So there's the offense. There is the effects. So we only need that once. And it will expire after the next round. So, but basically that's what he has on him is dodge. But what I don't understand is why. Let me look at this skeleton. Skeleton number 3. I guess it just changed the effects on it. No big deal. And then Damien has ready action. Okay, so it's right. Yep. Okay, so here we go. So that's his turn, and then he just went ahead and did the dodge. So that's his turn. Okay, skeleton number 2. Way up here, so he's going to move in to range. So he had to open the door. So that's going to be his turn, basically. So he can move just that far. He had to open the door, too. And then he is going to pull out his bow and take a shot at Damien, but he's going to have a -2 because he has to shoot through his ally. So if I hold down the control key and click on targeting, you see he kind of has to shoot through his allies. So I'll do a -2. And then I'm just going to double click on the attack roll for the short bow. So with a -2, even with that, it hit. So he was able to shoot through his ally with a short bow. And now I'm going to apply the damage, which is a 1d6 +2 piercing. Ouch. So that thing, it did some light damage to Damien. It did 7 points of damage, which is pretty gnarly. So that skeleton got a nice shot off on him. So that's basically his turn. So then I'm going to pass the turn on. So Damien Hellseeker is embattled right now. So what I'm going to do is try to basically he recovers his weapon. And I'm going to make him do an action surge since right now he seems to be embattled and he's not really doing so great. So I'm going to have him slide diagonally through here. So this way he can engage both of these individuals. And for the skeleton, I'm going to go ahead and make him visible. So now he's visible because he's no longer behind the door. And Damien is going to use his melee weapon, but he's also going to use the action surge if needed. So his first swat with his Morningstar, so he quickly picks it up after getting that arrow in the side, moves forward, and tries to bash this skeleton that just moved in. So he's able to bash that skeleton with his Morningstar. So let's see what happens. So he rolled fairly well. He did heavy damage, and that he probably knocked some of the ribs out of that skeleton. Now he's going to turn his attack to this other skeleton that just was in his face a moment ago. And he was still able to hit, even rolling an 8, because he has +7. So he was able to destroy that skeleton with one blow, and basically just shattered it into pieces. So you can leave those on the battle map, or you can remove them. So in this case, since that one's dead, basically, I'm going to remove it. So you can tell by the little, there's a little icon. So we can actually take and remove skeleton number 2. So this one is gone. He's basically, he's hurt. He's not dead, but this one, the skeleton number 2 is hurt, but skeleton number 3 is gone. So I'm just going to delete this so you can see the little garbage can appear on the very top of the combat tracker. So he just did exactly 14 points of damage, just shattered it. So that removes him, and then he's going to use his action surge to take care of this last skeleton. So that just gives him 1 additional attack. So I just checked that off, and I'm going to drag and drop the attack roll onto that creature again. So he very quickly turns around and does like a backhand swing, and the Morningstar comes crashing into the side of the skeleton. And this skeleton also goes out in a kind of like in a shamble, a pile of bones. So he took those 2 skeletons out, which is really cool. So I can just imagine him spinning around. He's got this big Morningstar, and he's just kind of, using it to bash his opponents. So he's able to take that one out. So skeleton number 2 is gone now as well. So Damien still has some movement left. So I'm going to have him move towards this other skeleton. And that'll be his turn. So that is the end of this round. We're at round 3. So now we're at the top of round 4. So skeleton number 2, or number 1, is basically going to... He's got a bead on Erebus, so I'm going to have him target Erebus. And he has his short bow out, so I'm just going to go ahead and double-click on the attack roll for the short bow. And he missed because Erebus actually had the dodge action ready. So when he shot at him, he was able to dodge out of the way. Kind of did a tuck and roll type thing, or he rolled out of the way, or kind of made himself smaller. So he kind of probably just ducked down. So the arrow missed, and that's the end of the skeleton's turn. So the skeleton may or may not be aware of Damien behind him. So I want to see what happens there. So the skeletons aren't that intelligent. They're got an intelligence of 6, and they're not really battle-hardened adventurers or anything. So what I'm going to do is look at his passive perception, which is very low. So I'm going to do like a perception check on him. Yeah, so he notices Damien's behind him. So he's going to stand his ground and basically pull out his short blade and engage Damien. So that's the end of his turn. Okay, so Fatalia is basically thinking about how she wants to proceed. So I think for the time being, she's going to take out her crossbow. But if she sees anything else, she's probably going to use her cantrip. So it's either the crossbow or the cantrip. I think she'll use Agonizing Blast next opportunity. So she can't really see this skeleton very well. So if I target... Let's see. Nope. So I have to click on her token and then target the skeleton. So he has way too much cover. So that would be like a -5 to hit. So I'm not even going to bother. But that's basically what she sees, like the very leading edge of the skeleton. But that's just about as much as she can see right now. She's not going to move forward. So it doesn't improve her angle. So we'll just leave it at that. So she's going to hold her action. If she sees anybody coming into range, she'll target them and blast them with the Agonizing Blast. So this will be a readied spell action instead. And then I have this skeleton targeted in case, but I don't know if she's actually going to attack that one. So I'm going to go ahead and remove the target until that time comes. So Erebus is kind of ducked and rolled, and now he's standing back up. He's going to probably use a missile weapon as well. He sees that Damien has it under hand, so he's going to take probably just do some kind of minor thing to it. So I want to, let's see, what do I want to do? I think what I'll do is Psychic Blades. So he's going to use one of his Bard abilities, Psychic Blades. So he's part of the College of Whispers, so if he hits a creature with it has to be with a weapon attack. Okay, never mind. So that's not going to happen. So maybe I will do, let's see. Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do Inspiration on Damien, and he has to be able to see him. So I think he's going to move up, and he's going to encourage Damien to succeed and, give him a shout out. So he moves up, and you can see Damien now, and he's going to use a Bardic Inspiration. So there's an Inspiration die that Damien can use, depending. So it's going to be a D6. So I'm just going to randomly roll a D6. So Damien gets a +2 modifier to whatever rolls to be applied to. So I just drag and drop the modifier into the hotkeys until that's used. So he used one of his Bardic Inspirations. So he's saying like a little poem about destroying these undead. So that is Erebus's turn. Now Damien is going to attack again with his Morning Star. So again, he gets 2 attacks. He's 5th level. That's why. So his first go around, the skeleton moved to draw its blade out, kind of threw Damien off, so he missed. The second time, Damien is able to connect, and it just comes crashing down on the corpse or the bones of this undead skeleton. So the skeleton is nearly defeated. He almost wiped it out in one blow. It still has some hit points left over, like 1, but it's just barely hanging there. I mean, it's like 1 bone more and it's going to collapse. So Damien is basically going to hold his ground, but I think what he'll do is move up 1 square just so he can get into, have a little bit more room. And so he's able to, see everything. So that's Damien's turn. And now that this turn is almost over, the next encounter is coming up. So at the end of the second round, or at the end of this round, this new encounter comes up with 4 more skeletons. So I'm going to hit the down arrow. And this is going to start the new round. So I'm going to go ahead and click the next actor, or if you're a player, it's turn complete. And now we get to another group of skeletons. So this one here, number 4, is visible. So I need to make that one visible. The skeleton number 3 is right here. So I'm just going to go ahead and make him visible and then move him forward. So he's going to move his movement rate, which is 30 feet. So I'm going to hold down the Alt key and move this token. And I think he's going to take his short bow out and attack Erebus. So he comes out, he sees the range there, or it notices the range, so it's going to use his bow. So he has Damien targeted, or Erebus, not Damien. So take the short bow and double click on the attack roll. And he missed. So he comes out, shoots with the bow, and misses. Skeleton number 2 is back here in this hallway. So he's going to move. I'm going to make him visible now. He was kind of lingering there in the dark, so I'm going to move him now. So that's his turn. And then the next skeleton, let's see, number 5. Oh, that was number 5. Okay. Skeleton number 2 is going to move. So they're kind of grouping up here in a big mob. So this is kind of the moment that Erebus was waiting for. So number 4 is going to move forward to engage. So on a 1 to 3, he's going to go after Damien. On a 4 to 6, he's going to go after Erebus. So okay, so he's going after Damien. So I'm going to move him forward. And I just rolled that so that I don't really know exactly who they're going to go after. So he moves up here to engage Damien. And he takes his short blade and takes a swing at him. And he misses. So he just kind of took a wild, lurching swing and almost lost his balance. So that was that skeleton's turn. And now skeleton number 1 from the original group is basically going to turn to Damien and attack him since his ally was doing the same thing. So he scored a hit on Damien, so Damien's already taken a couple blows. Ouch. So Damien's got some moderate damage going on. So if I look at the combat tracker, yeah, Damien's got 13 out of 40 taken, so he's hurting pretty good. But he's still hanging in there, so he'll be all right. So that is the skeleton number 1's turn. And now Fatalia Flamethrower. She's going to use her Agonizing Blast. So it's a force damage, so that should harm these skeletons. So first I need to make the ranged cast attack. So she's able to score a hit, so she puts her hands out and this like kind of this purplish colored glowing mass goes towards the skeleton, and then the force just kind of slams into it. So that skeleton took heavy damage from that blow, so that was pretty good. She used a cantrip on that, so that helps a lot. She gets her charisma bonus because it is one of her pack boons for being a warlock. So if you go to the abilities here, under her pack boon, one of the ones she chose was to have instead of the regular blast, she has Agonizing Blast now, because it was something that she that would have been just a normal thing, but she actually has a little bit stronger ability now. So Fatalia is done with her turn, so she's just going to stay put and try to blast from afar. Erebus is going to rinse and repeat on the damage, so he's going to actually go after skeleton number 1. So I'm going to have him move forward, where he steps to the side, and then he kind of scissors into this skeleton number 1. He's going to use I'm going to have him use his rapier. So he's able to connect. So he just kind of pokes in with his rapier. Probably tries to hit the last spinal column that keeps that skeleton up and going. And he takes out the skeleton. So that was good. So that's his turn, basically. And then he can move back. So I'm going to have him move back to 20 feet. So that's his turn. But he did create an attack of opportunity for this skeleton because he moved away from the threat. Well, actually, he didn't. He was diagonal, so he's fine. But he basically, that's the end of his turn. So that's that. And then the skeleton who just passed, or that just died, I just removed him from the combat tracker. So they're doing okay with the skeletons. So Erebus is done. So now it's Damien's turn. So he's just going to swack at the skeleton a couple times because that's basically his target. And I don't think he wants to move forward and open himself up for more attacks. So Damien is taking his Morning Star again. He's just going to hack away at this skeleton. So he's able to land a hit, no problem. He takes a mace or the Morning Star and shatters the shoulder of the skeleton on his left side. So he took that skeleton out with his last final blow. He has one extra attack, so if I want to move him in to engage, I can do that. I have enough movement. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to have him move and kind of just move right into these skeletons to block them off from doing any more harm. This skeleton here is gone, so he just kind of jumps over the bones or walks over them. And he attacks skeleton number 3. This time he's able to hit again, and let's see what the Morningstar does to him. So the Morningstar did a heavy damage. He just took it and like probably caved in part of his skull, and it kind of lurches to the side. So he's pretty happy with himself. He basically succeeded with that roll. So now it goes back up to the top of the round. So skeleton number 3 is the one right in front of him. So I'm going to have him attack Damien with the short blade. So he jabs in there and gets a nice little cut there into Damien's side. And Damien's kind of the tank, so he's sort of used to this. Ooh, he took heavy damage too that time. So Damien's hurt, and he's getting up there in wounds, so he's going to have to do something soon. So this skeleton is actually going to move up and attack as well. So he moves up to get into a position to attack, and he uses his short bow, or his short blade. And he's missed. So when he moved, the other skeleton's kind of in his way, and he tried to scissor his jab in there, but Damien was able to kind of sidestep it. So he wasn't able to. He wasn't successful. So let's see. Skeleton 2, Skeleton 3, or Skeleton 5? Huh. Don't know where Skeleton 5 went, but he's basically MIA right now. I don't know where he went, but I don't see him anywhere, so looks like he's maybe he fell off the ravine. So I'll just remove him off here, I think. So we have 3 and 2, and this is Skeleton 5. So 3 and 2 are here. I don't know what happened, but looks like it needs to go away. Oh, they were stacked. That's what it was. Oh, well. So that's the Damien's Hellseeker is basically in battle. He's not doing too well. So Fatalia sees this open target, so I'm going to have her target the this target here, which is skeleton. So Fatalia is targeting skeleton number 2. Again, Agonizing Blast. So it's ranged. It's 120 feet, so she's got this. That's quite a range, 65 feet, so that's good. And she missed. So it kind of goes wide and shoots in between these two. So she's like really frustrated. She's probably cursing under her breath right now. She moves up about 10 feet. Maybe she thinks she's too far away to see. She moves closer to her brother, and that's her turn. So she says, "Do something, brother." So he says, "I am." So he's going to cast Vicious Mockery. I don't know if this really works really well against skeletons, but he's going to cast this on the skeleton and basically says, "You're not worthy of being raised." He says some kind of curses and yells at him, basically. It's 60 feet, so he should be able to target this guy. Yeah, so he's in range, so he's going to basically mock this guy. I don't know if that works well in skeletons, but we'll see. Yeah, he failed anyways. So he basically used his turn for nothing. And I think he's going to move up a little. So that's his turn. All right, so Damien is kind of hurt. What I'm going to do is on his sheet, he has the second wind. So I'm going to use that as a bonus action. So you gain back 7 hit points, so that's good. That helps. I clicked on it because that actually uses that up. And I think I'm going to do a... see, what does a pushing attack do? Okay, so I'm going to try to push this... there's no one behind him, so there's really no point. I think he's just going to try to finish off the skeleton. That's probably his best course of action right now. So he's able to do that. And I'm going to use his Bardic Inspiration. So I drag the 2 in the modifier, so it's going to add to his attack roll. So we'll see what happens here. So Damien is going to use his Morning Star again. Wow, natural 20 plus the bonus. He got a 29 altogether. Kind of a wasted roll, but at least we know he hit. And now for the damage. So Fantasy Grounds will automatically calculate that it's critical damage. So when I drag and drop the damage, it'll automatically add the extra die. Oh yeah, he took that thing out, just smashed it into pieces. So that is the end of skeleton number 3. And Damien is going to move over just so he can get in the way, so that one can't do any harm to anyone else. But it's going to also block Fatalia, but oh well. So that's his turn. Skeleton number 2 is going to reciprocate and attack with his short blade again. He's going to try to jab at him. So Damien was able to sidestep that jab, and you saw it coming, so it wasn't no surprise. Fatalia's like, damn it. Because you're in my way, Damien. Again. So she's going to tell her brother to be on alert, and she's going to hold her action. And if she sees any other targets or anyone else attack, it's going to use her crossbow. So I'm going to use the ready action and hold her turn for now. So she's just getting ready in case. Erebus is going to also hold his attack, but he might actually try to do a trick shot in between Damien and the skeleton. Hopefully he doesn't roll a 1. So what I'm going to do is take the penalty. So Erebus is going to get a -2, and then he's going to take his attack. He's going to throw a dagger at the skeleton. So I'm going to have him target. Yeah, he's already got that guy targeted, I believe. Yeah. So I'm just going to double click on the attack roll on the thrown weapon. And he missed. So he lost one of his daggers, or he didn't lose it, but it basically hit off the wall, went clang. So that's his turn. He's cursing under his breath. Damn it. So that's his turn. And now Damien gets to go. So Damien is going to again use his Morning Star to finish off the skeleton. So Damien. All right, so he connects that time. And basically takes that skeleton out in one fell swoop. So that takes care of the skeletons. So those are all gone now. So they wiped out both of those encounters. So I could ask the party if they want to do a short rest. Yes, they're going to do a short rest. They might come together. So what I'll do is I'm going to move them together in a group. They're taking a short break. They're deciding which way they want to go. That's what we'll do in the next episode. But I'm going to show you the mechanic for here. We'll do a short rest. So if I go to the combat tracker on the bottom under menu, there's a rest option. And there's a long and a short rest. So I'll do a short rest. And then for the damage that Damien took, if I go to his character sheet on the main tab, he has 5 hit die, so he's going to use one of those to heal himself. So I'm going to go ahead and double click that. And that heals him for 4 more healing. And then his Erebus, I believe, has the Song of Rest. Yes, so he can add an additional D6. So the Song of Rest you can use to soothe the person and their wounds during a short rest. So I'll go ahead and just drag that onto Damien. So there we go. So Damien's feeling a little better. He's down to 8 damage or 8 wounds instead. So that's good. So that's basically how you would resolve that. And then as far as Fantasy Grounds goes for the party sheet, now that we're done with these 2 encounters, I can go and put these on the experience area. So for this encounter, I just drag and drop it into the award area for encounters. And other skeletons as well. Once I've done that, then I can click the award button, and that will divide the experience points amongst the group. So that's how you award that. So that's basically one combat round. We'll finish this another session. We'll do a part 3, but basically that's how you would run this particular setup there. Obviously, I'd have players connected. It might even go a little faster or slower, but I was able to execute that pretty quickly. Just because I know the encounter and I created everything, so it made it a little easier. So on the rounds were reset because we did a short rest. They're deciding which way they want to go. So I'm going to roll a d6 and have the dice decide. So a 1 to 2, they go north. 3 to 4, they go west. 5 to 6, they go south. All right, so they're going to go west. So that's their next destination, is they're going to actually move towards this. So I'm going to draw a pointer to remind me next time. So next time we come in, we'll know we're going that way. So there we go. So that takes care of that encounter. So that's basically how you would run that. And that's basically the way that plays out. So if you ever want to run a campaign and you're trying to wonder how that should go, that's an example of what you might expect. And then I can, once I'm done, you can close everything up if you want. I've already awarded the experience. When I come back, I can bring all those characters back up. It's not going to be a problem. This combat tracker will be gone too. But when I open up my notes, or if I just click on the combat tracker and all the players on it, they'll come back. So I don't have to worry about it. So I have some notes. When I click on the notes, it brings everything back up. So I don't have to worry about it. And then same with the map. So everything will be back where I had it. So this is the map that we're on. I'm going to unlock this temporarily. You can see there's the line of sight for it. And then the actual encounters are coming up. You can see the little pins here. And then for this play mode, if I turn off the actual line of sight or the player vision, I can see more of what's going on. And then if I turn off the line of sight and ambient light, that's what the whole map looks like. So that's what we're dealing with. So when we come back, we'll roll initiative and see where we're at. Actually, I'll do that now. So I can go to the menu. I can go to, let's see, initiative. There we go. So Erebus will go first. So that's our next time we do this. We'll have a initiative set. We'll be ready to go. So this was part 2. There's another version that I did a couple days ago or a week ago. You want to go back and watch that. I'm making a playlist, so there's other videos on here that shows how I made the characters and how to do some line of sight stuff. So kind of going through the most of the processes that you might go through as a game master. So I think that's enough. I did about 50 minutes. I don't want to go much longer than this. Everybody have a good week. Take care.